You're going to pay $900 per month just to heat your homes in the United States as the United States strikes back on Houthi shites in Yemen. Now, a lot of you guys know what's going on in Yemen. There's a lot of conflict over there, and the United States is literally dead set in the center of it. Ever since the October 7th situation between Israel, Hamas, the United States has been pretty much involved in the conflict. And of course, we're feeling the pain. We're feeling the pain of higher prices at Walmart, higher prices at Target, Costco, and pretty much any other retailer. But even more painful are the prices of energy and the cost to heat and to cool our homes. Now, we're sitting right here in the eye of a polar vortex, and the strain on our power grid has never been greater for the year of 2024. Now, guys, I want to talk to you guys about the U.S. attack in Yemen that just took place just 2 hours ago, and how this could theoretically lead to a massive a massive spike in energy costs. But more importantly, I want to show you and your family how you can prepare to to position yourselves so that you are not as impacted with this whole conflict here, and financially how to prepare yourselves. Now, if you guys appreciate the information, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate that. But let's go ahead and jump right into this. So just 2 hours ago, you got U.S. fighter jets strike the Houthi missile launchers in Yemen. But, we're talking about a world where tensions are high, guys. The stakes are even higher. And by the way, we are live. If you're able to see and hear me okay, just hit the like button or drop me a comment, do something to let me know that you guys are able to see and hear me okay. Now, we're talking about a world where the tensions are high right now, right? And in recent news, we have heard about the U.S. strikes against Houthi sites in response to the attacks in the Red Sea, right? They've been going after these commercial tanker ships, and this is literally potentially setting us up for a drastic economic shift, which I'm going to explain more in this video. Okay, so this is more than just a fleeting news story, guys. It's like a chapter in a long, complex narrative involving a lot of different dynamics and regional conflicts, right? But here's the thing. So imagine this. So the U.S., taking action against these attacks. It sounds like a decisive decision, right? President Biden essentially went behind Congress's back just a few days ago and authorized an airstrike. And the Democrats did not support this thing. But, oddly enough, a lot of Republicans got behind him and actually supported his decision to basically go behind the Democrats' back, behind Congress back, I should say, because it wasn't just the Democrats, and issued this attack. Now, here's the thing. It's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on a wound that, really needs stitches. You know what I mean? It kind of covers the problem, but it really doesn't fix the underlying problem, if that makes any sense, right? So zooming out here just a little bit, this isn't just about the U.S. and the Houthi rebels. It's really a tangled web involving Iran, Israel, Hamas, and several other countries. I mean, let's not even forget about China and the whole China and Taiwan and, the Russia-Ukraine war that we're funding off to the side. But guys, this is a chess game, and it's a chess game where basically one move can affect the whole board, right? And when one player makes a move, it's not just about that one piece. It's about anticipating the next 10 moves, right? And so, and speaking of moves, let's talk about Iran for a second, right? So Iran's a key player in this. Iran's backing the Houthis, right? But the question is why? Why is Iran backing the Houthis? What is Iran's end game? And it's kind of like watching like a shadow theater, right? You see the shadows, but you're kind of left guessing about the figures that are chasing them, right? So Iran's involvement really adds layers to the already complex situation. But it's not just black and white. There's a lot of shades of gray that we definitely need to be considering here. Now, if we kind of zoom back into the United States, right? There's this idea that they're taking the path of like least resistance, right? So they're avoiding direct confrontation with Iran. And the question is Is avoiding direct confrontation with Iran, is it a cautious move, or is it a missed opportunity? Are we appearing more weak as a country by, not directly confronting Iran in this whole situation, right? That's the really big question, and that's something that we need to explore a little bit, right? It's like navigating a storm. Like, do you go around it? Do you go through it? You know what I'm saying? No matter what you choose, either choice has risks. Do you run out of gas going around it? Do you try to go through it and maybe end up getting swallowed up by the storm? Which one gets you safely to shore as at the end of the day, right? And I see you guys in the comments. I appreciate you guys. I see Catalia in the comments. I see Margaret Miner, Susie Watkins, Sandra Harth. I got ES, Josh Jahada, Jennifer Jefferson, Chris Starr. I appreciate you guys, Donald. So these decisions that the government's making, they're making it in a vacuum. They're making it behind closed doors, but we can see the impact of the decisions that they're making. They basically echo across the globe. So take this conflict between Israel and Hamas, right? So it's not just about those guys. It's about how their conflict is shaking up this whole stability of the region and beyond, right? It's a domino effect, guys. Where basically one fallen piece can set off a chain reaction. And this is why it's more like a chess game, right? Anyway, so at the heart of all of this is leadership, right? So we got decisions being made by those in power, rippling outwards. President Joe Biden, for example, he's navigating these choppy waters. But the question is Biden steering the ship in the right direction? There's a lot of debate on that. Is Biden making the right choices? Is he the best leader to get us through this? But leadership is more than just about making decisions. It's also about, foreseeing the longer term impacts of any decision that's made, right? So, basically no country is an island, metaphorically speaking, right? So the United States, Iran, Israel, they're all part of this big, huge global subdivision or community. Allies and partnerships matter, right? How the United States is perceived by the world matters, right? How the United States works with its allies and how it leverages these relationships. This is crucial, right? And it's like a team sport. You're only as strong as your weakest link. So where does this leave us? It's a very complex world, but one thing is very clear. Understanding these issues is the very first step toward meaningful action, right? So let's talk about this whole Red Sea situation, right? A very crucial artery in the body of global trade. Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter? Why does it matter to me? I'm here in Florida. I'm here in New York. I'm here in California or Texas. I don't live anywhere near the Red Sea. Why do I care what's going on over there? Well, guys, imagine this, right? We all go to the mall. Well, I don't really go to the mall anymore. We all go to Target, Costco, Walmart, Kroger's, Publix, right? Sam's Club. So a spike in shipping costs. We all order products from Amazon, right? Or maybe Temu or Shein, like wherever you order your stuff from, right? A spike in shipping costs delays getting goods, and then suddenly your favorite products they're either not available, they're not on the shelves, or they're just too expensive, or you don't want to spend the money on them. It's just not worth it, right? This is basically the butterfly effect in action. It's a conflict far away, rippling all the way back to our doorstep. So why do we care about what happens in the Red Sea? Because it's going to affect you one way or the other. Now, let's look at oil prices, right? When these oil prices fluctuate, right, it's not just the numbers on the screen. Now, of course, you got, commodities traders trading from their phones. They got these different apps and brokerage accounts. And of course, you see the little ticker symbols on the screen showing how much oil and other commodities and stocks are going up and down, how the prices fluctuate basically minute by minute. But here's the thing. Those numbers matter because those numbers, as these investors and traders, and you got, big firms like, the size of BlackRock or State Street or Vanguard, like these big investment hedge funds, they're banking on these conflicts in the Middle East because they know what's going to happen with these commodity prices. They know what's going to happen with these oil prices. It's going to affect all of us, right? And So, it's at the end of the day, it's your wallet that's getting thinner as everything from gas to groceries gets more expensive. Why? Because this is all a part of their plan as far as this great wealth transfer. And if you're not aware of what's going on, you will have your wealth transferred out of your pocket into the hands of the very few, right? Think, think World Economic Forum folks, think your Bill Gates of the world, think, your Warren Buffett's. Like, I'm just saying, like, look at, I was always told, watch the flow of money. If you understand the flow of money, then you can understand where to position yourself, right? So, it's because of these, it's because, like, when these key regions like the Middle East are in turmoil, the cost of oil soars. We see it all the time, right? And this isn't just an economic issue. It's about how a distant conflict that no one cared about ends up, tightening the grip on your personal daily life as an individual and for your family. And even if you don't order anything from Amazon or any of these other websites or whatnot, every product you see in the store got there how? It got there by a diesel powered semi truck picking it up from one location and dropping it off to you. And you also have to think about the supply chain. Like, how did that diesel powered semi truck get the product from the warehouse? More importantly, how did the warehouse get the product that the semi truck picked up? Well, it likely was imported from China or Taiwan or Indonesia or one of these faraway lands and delivered by ship, right? So if these ships can't get through the Red Sea, they can't get to the warehouse. If that warehouse goes empty, we already been through this, right? So, basically, when these global tensions rise, markets tend to shake. You're going to see the spike in the stock market. You may see the stock market spike upward. The stock market may spike downward, but there will be increased volatility. And we've already seen it. We've already seen it. So basically, it's kind of like a game of Jenga, right? One wrong move and pretty much everything can tumble. Your retirement funds, your investments, your 401ks, your brokerage accounts. Basically, we are so interconnected in this global economy. It's just wild. And this is we will continue to be more interconnected, as there's more reliance on AI and digital currencies, as we move more and more away from cash, as the BRICS nations become more and more in power, and we're going to see more of a global effect on our money. So it's all about positioning. So let's also not forget about these economic sanctions. You guys remember when that whole Russia-Ukraine war started, and man, I got some paint on me. I was painting earlier. Anyway, so you remember how President Biden had issued the sanctions on the Ukraine, issued the sanctions on Russia, and we were under the impression that this was going to be a strategic move to, basically put the strain on Russia and make them have to basically, kind of bend to our knees, right? Bend to their knees. But the thing is this made Russia think very, very strategically, and they essentially circumvented the sanctions that we had placed on them. And many argue that these sanctions were actually creating more of a problem for us here at home in the United States than it did for Russia. But again, these decisions, like I said earlier, they're like chess moves in international politics, right? And they're intended to, checkmate their rivals, but sometimes mistakes are made. Maybe some of these mistakes are not necessarily mistakes. I mean, is it possible that some of these decisions are made to make the United States collapse and become weaker? I mean, I'm not saying that is, but I'm just saying, it's not impossible. But here's the twist, guys. While targeting governments, they could also hit the common people, affecting jobs, affecting livelihoods. It's a very complex game that we need to be aware of. Think about it. When prices go up, people tend to spend less. They tend to buy less product. Let me rephrase that. Sometimes you end up spending more money and getting less. But if you're getting less, that means you're buying less product. So, and if the companies are ultimately seeing their profits reduce, what's going to happen? What's the first thing that companies tend to do when their revenues go down? When they need to cut costs, they're going to look at their labor. They're going to look at their staff. They're going to say, "Hey, our Q4 profit margins down, revenues down. What expenses are the easiest to cut today? All right, who can we let go? Who's been calling out sick more? Who's been, saying that they're out sick with COVID? Who's been saying that, they need to spend time with their family? They're going to start looking at some of the weaker links and looking to let them go. This is typically what we will see, right? But this is the state of where we're at as an economy. So anyway, the stability of the whole global financial system, we gotta pay very, very close attention to what's happening. These conflicts can pull out the crucial blocks and ultimately threaten the entire structure. Now, this could lead to a cascade of events. Lower investments, reduced consumer spending, like we talked about. Slower economic growth. It's a cycle that can literally touch every corner of the globe. You got currency fluctuations, not just the U.S. dollar, currency fluctuations, because almost every single company here in the United States is trading internationally. So how the U.S. dollar fluctuates against the euro, or how the euro is fluctuating against the yen, the value of Bitcoin or XRP or Ripple or Cardano, like all of this matters because there is a tremendous amount of our products that we see on the shelves at stores that are imported. So when currencies fluctuate as a result of these international issues, we're going to see it at the stores. We're always going to see it at the stores. So anyway, so basically they're the pulse of a nation's economic health at the end of the day. So what are you guys' thoughts on all this, right? Like, does this make sense? And while I have you, I just want to kind of ask you, like, what was the most interesting part of today's conversation? I'd love to hear back from you guys. I think at this point, the smartest thing that the average person can do right now is, number one, look at your, no, if you don't already have a budget, you got to have a budget. Number two, look at your income. How's your income look compared to your expenses? How much debt are you carrying? Are you carrying high interest debt? Do you only have a mortgage payment? Like, are you paying like, credit cards and car payments like most Americans? And more importantly, even if you are, it's not the end of the world. But the key here is to be moving forward. Because if you're not moving forward, then, if an unexpected move happens on the chessboard of life, you can end up getting wiped out. So the key here for most people is to build those savings accounts, have some solid investments, eliminate high interest debts, not just credit cards, but some people have high interest car payments, right? The number of people, searching how to get rid of their car is spiking, right? So there's a reason for that, right? So it's all about positioning yourselves, right? Make sure you have an emergency fund. And above and beyond the emergency fund, above and beyond the investments, you want to make sure you got some dry powder. When I'm talking about dry powder, there's going to be a lot of opportunities that are going to be opening up. And if you don't have dry powder, you're not going to be able to take advantage of them. How many times have we heard, some of these famous entrepreneurs and business owners making so much money during the worst of times? Well, the reason why they were able to do it is because they were paying attention, number one. But number two, they made sure that they had dry powder available so that they could take advantage of the circumstances that ended up coming up. So I just wanted to go ahead and share a little bit of that information with you guys. I'm going to try to jump on here later on today and hang out with you guys again. Catalia says she has zero debt here, no credit card debt. That is what's up. That is bossing it, And don't be afraid of credit cards. Number one, I not really number one, but in addition to what I was saying about, the credit card debt and all that, I'm not saying get rid of credit cards. I'm not saying don't use credit cards. I use credit cards every single day. I just pay them off down to zero, and I use the cards versus letting the cards use me. Like, in America, most people are suffering like they're like what do you call it? It's like modern day slavery, because think about it. If the average person didn't have as much debt, the average person wouldn't technically have to go to work as much, right? And just think about the freedom that would come with that if you didn't have to work, because you didn't have these ancillary bills to pay. Your savings would go further. Your retirement investments would carry you longer. So anyway, it's all about positioning. So I want to share more information with you guys in some future videos. But I also wanted to give you guys this quick update. If you enjoyed the video, definitely hit the like button for the video. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Take care and be safe.